profit, muscle.
Crazy, Kanye. Why don't you contact me when you got something to say to me?
And Dave Chappelle spoke about that as a comedian. Black actors are always, being asked to wear dresses. Have you ran into that? And what do you think about that whole Illuminati theory that people put out there about that?
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them. End quote.
We all love Dave Chappelle.
Exactly. Dave Chappelle has never been a part of the Illuminati. They don't want him or me or people like us.
Yeah.
But now it's not necessary for us to stir up that hornet's nest unless we intend to get stung 1,000,000 times. I didn't understand that. They had to sting me 1,000,000 times.
Right.
I'm still not going to join, but I respect it a little more.
All right. How do you handle that? Because they put your name in the press with a lot of rumors and a lot of situations that they try to put on Katt Williams. Do you feel ever the need to, I got to go defend this and put out a story about who I am, or do you just let that kind of roll off your back when
Well, as you can see, I've let it all go for quite some time, and a lot of that is just based upon the fact that I don't really know how to complain because all of the people that I ever looked up to had to go through it too. So I know how much they talked about Martin Luther King, and I know what they end up doing to him. I know this same story about Jesus and a few of my uncles. So now I know that if your mouth is really, really big and you try to tell the truth for a living and you like to air people out, hatred is coming your way. I didn't know it was going to be this type of hatred, but I'm concrete in all things because of He who strengthens me. So that doesn't mean I always make the right decisions, but I am going to stand by what I stand for, and I'm only continuing to do it because I was looking for somebody who was doing it instead of me. And I just must have missed them, you know what I mean? So at some point you have to figure out what example are you trying to be. If it's just going to be you going to make it and live happily ever after and go off into the sunset, then that's what that is. Otherwise, you're on the front line of this battle.
Literally what Ye about to say.
I could go off and just go to, Hawaii and live a nice life. That means that God has called me to sacrifice all of that in order to bring the truth.
And those of us who understand that this is a part of what comes with it.
There was a recent controversy online, I know you don't spend all your time online, about Kevin Hart wearing a dress.
Well, thanks for that softball question. It's two answers. First of all, let's be very, very clear. It is possible that there isn't anything funnier than a guy in a dress. And if that's the case, then it might also be said that there's nothing funnier than a black guy in a dress. Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now, I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next.
Okay.
Some of us are against the Illuminati.
Do you have any idea who shot Suge?
I'm pretty sure Suge knows who shot Suge.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So when he comes out of sedation, I'm sure anybody who gets shot will tell you who shot them, right?
yeah.
But if the police say nobody shot him, I believe nobody shot him. And if nobody shot him, that's the same nobody that shot Tupac. And if nobody shot Tupac, it's the same nobody that shot MLK. And if nobody shot him, that's the same person that shot Malcolm X too. It's a lot of nobodies out there, and nobody minds if nobody comes up missing, right? That don't bother nobody, does it? Certainly doesn't bother me.
So
Shout outs to the nobodies of the
you're
world.
predicting this is going to be a nobody situation.
I'm making no predictions
Okay.
whatsoever. I'm saying the police said they arrested the shooters, then said they didn't arrest the shooters. But I was there, so I know that 20 minutes after people were laying down on the ground shot, no police had entered the club yet.
did Suge do anything to provoke this, or?
Nobody in the world has ever provoked themselves being shot.
That's true.
There's only two ways to get shot. Either you believe you're somewhere where a person can't have a gun, therefore making you safe, you know, like an airport or a club that restricts entrance, and a situation where the person already has the gun out and you're standing in front of somebody. Now, if you're an idiot, you can believe this was about Suge Knight, but Suge Knight has been accessible every day of his life for 20 years. We know who it was aimed at, we know whose life he saved, and we know why they won't talk about it. But now the rumor mill would tell you, yeah, see, the same thing Suge was doing to Katt, he was trying to do to Chris. They're forgetting something. Suge has never managed me.
What about the reports that this was gang related, that these were two gang members that thought they did it in spite of Tupac?
If it was gang related, then why didn't it happen thoroughly? You see, there's parts of this story that just don't seem to make sense.
Right.
You're saying it was gang related, so that means somebody's gang was shooting at somebody's gang, and then somebody's gang didn't shoot back. That's your story? That's not really how gang stuff works, is it? But Dave Chappelle was decapitated in front of us. And then want to tell me about, I just watched you decapitate the king in front of me. And then act like he's supposed to catch up and be a regular comedian like everybody else. But no.
He didn't go for that.
That's not how it went. He was out there with us for 20 years. They called him Pilot Boy because he had 19 pilots in Hollywood, and everybody passed on him and said his show wasn't.
What do you think of
Then when he made $500 million, they said even though his contract said he should get half of it, they said he made too much for the contract to be valid, so we'll offer you 10% of what you made. You mean he made $500 million and they offered him 50? Yes. And he said, what do you think my fans are going to say when they find out you offered me 10% of what I made you? And they said, your fans will believe that you're a crazy crackhead by the time you get home. And my nigga got on the flight in LA, and by the time he got to Ohio, it was so. And 8 years later, he hasn't been in a movie and or television. Is just now trying to do his real comeback at Radio City Music Hall. It bees like that sometimes. So now you can be the fake king or you can be the real king.
The reason I created that word kinga to replace it with that negative word. So we finally have a positive connotation. And I'm talking about all people. Because under God's eyes, we all equal.
What's up, it's Christina Milian. Have a great fight for Prophet Muscle.
And since I had a chance to know you, I see what kind of good person you were. Boom, that was it.
Roger.
Kingas.
Subscribe to the Prophet channel.
Oh, they got you.